So let's talk. So let's talk about Team USA and My Friends Are Pro. My friends are pro. Oh, oh. Bienvenue and welcome to 150 Days of Winter. Hello. 7 screws, 1 plate. Before we start talking about the video, we have to, in theory, first of all, talk about why the video was made and where it came from. And for that, we need to first of all talk about Jon Olssons Supersessions, which was a big air competition held, I think, from about 2008 to maybe about 2012. And what made it different was that instead of it just being a big air event, each of the teams had to make a video of themselves doing tricks and then make a video which was then submitted to the judges. Something that I think has been copied since then, but back then it was very unique. Again, to compare My Friends Are Pro to every other video that was made before and after, you'll see that the focus on all the other videos is about skiing. They are all pretty good videos. Moody silhouettes of skiers flying through the air, sunset in the background. You know, it's a cinematographer's wet dream. Team USA, on the other hand, and the reason probably why they're called Team USA is 5 years earlier there was a film, Team America.
I've always wanted to be Captain USA. Dun, dun, dun.
So of course you can't call them that. Anyway, Team USA decided they were going to make a silly rap video which was going to be self-deprecating and about them and the freestyle ski industry. Why don't we just take a step backwards for a moment? Okay, in 2009, Colby James West was invited to Jon Olssons Supersessions with Simon Dumont, a great skier. Actually, I should point out that they are both great skiers. Right. However, if you don't know who Colby James West is, because since 2010, he hasn't really been on the radar of anything. Basically, he is a bit of a joker. His TV film persona is that of like a joker. If you want a like a benchmark of this, if you check out a clip from Claim, best ski movie ever, he mimes to Tom Jones's It's Not Unusual, and I think that perfectly sums up his character and also his skiing, which again is great. Anyway, Simon Dumont apparently actually wanted to win the competition and so didn't want to team up with Colby, which I guess is fair if you're being competitive. After that, Sammy Carlson and Tanner Hall backed out. With about 1 week before the competition, Yoon invited Colby +1. Again, if you watch their video, at the beginning of the video, he of course takes the mickey out of this, where he gets a phone call from Sammy Carlson, who's doing a silly voice, which is probably Colby doing Sammy Carlson voice, and of course swipes through his phone, where he has to choose between Jesus, Bodie Miller, who of course he calls him a party animal, the nice mugshot of Scottie Pippen, and I think the last picture is of T-Pain, but more about him later. He looks across the table, and of course John Symms is chugging Red Bull and lets out a comic exhalation of Red Bull. In reality, Colby called John and asked him for advice of who to bring. And of course John suggested himself, and apparently there might have been laughter on the phone. Anyway, suffice to say that Colby picked John Symms to come with him. To make up the rest of Team USA, he picked editor Mike Thomas from Free Skier, photographer Alex O'Brien, and Josh Finbow from Matchstick to do the cinematography. What initially was meant to be a 50-50 split of humour and skiing ended up in the final thing of being maybe 80%, 20%. When you watch the video, most of it is shot in a hotel elevator, in the pool, outside some urban graffiti walls, and by a lake, as they mix, as I said before, self-deprecation, ski humour, and wannabe white hip-hop memes. And of course, instead of spending money on helis, they of course bought a few bottles of cheap champagne, found a few, I'm going to call them groupies, but they were girls that they knew, who agreed to pour champagne on and around them in a gangstery sort of way. As you can imagine, as this video is being judged on skiing ability, it scored a big fat 0 and came last, which is understandable. There was another award which was available called the People's Choice Award. They ended up winning. And of course, as they say it, they were aiming for that all along. But the story doesn't end there. It was, with all the other videos posted on the Supersessions website, only to be properly removed for copyright reasons. Now, you see, it turns out that the backing track is from T-Pain's song All the Above, which All the Above turns into My Friends Are Pro. And of course, Team USA didn't have the rights. Again, a very hip-hop thing to rip off someone's backing track. It had to be removed from the Supersessions website. Luckily, it was leaked on the internet and became a hit with everyone, and myself included. So much so that back then I had, hold on one second. Oh. So, back then, that's the type of phone that I had. I went as far as actually getting the ringtone of this changed to be My Friends Are Pro, which, unlike an iPhone nowadays, it's a lot harder to try and make a ringtone for little Nokia. Anyway, that is the distance I went because it was, I think, such a clever idea. Regardless of that, here are some fun facts on the video. If you watch the video, you notice there was some graffiti that actually apparently says "fuck RA," which is the ski resort, which was blurred out so they had to be polite to their hosts apparently, which again, very, very opposite of hip hop. Okay. If you noticed that all Jon Symms' lyrics are so terribly auto-tuned, they're like overly auto-tuned, which I love the idea of. I'm sure Jon Symms' voice isn't that bad, but just to overemphasize it in the other direction, I think is a really funny joke. In the video, they make a reference to a black key on a gold chain, trying to be all gangster, and apparently this was given to competitors at the Supersessions, which again, in like the goodie bag that they give out. And Kiwi skier Josie Wells, who is a good friend of Colby James West, gets his website name dropped several times. Unfortunately, that website no longer exists. But again, it's that hip-hop thing of dropping a website name in your music. And so there you have it. Something from like over 10 years ago, which I just think is absolute genius. Hats off to Colby James West and Team USA. It was a great idea, and you know, even now I still remember it, and I hope by watching this that more people will go and check it out and relive what is an incredibly funny video. If you'd enjoyed this, you know what I'm going to say. Click the subscribe button, click the old like button, leave a comment down below if you have anything to add, because I'm sure I've missed out something. And on that, I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.